SpaceX Dragon displays are configured for launch.
On behalf of the entire SpaceX team, it's been a huge honor to help you get ready for today's historic mission. Know that we're with you, have an amazing flight, and enjoy those views of our beautiful planet.
Thanks, Jay. It is absolutely our honor to be part of this huge effort to get the United States back in the launch business.
Armed for launch.
SpaceX Dragon, we're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
T-minus 15.
Here we've got a man who's a serial entrepreneur, an incredibly controversial figure.
10, 9,
What could be the ultimate goal?
8,
You have that excitement stage,
7,
The most important company in the world.
6,
the initial surge.
5, 4,
An insane amount of ownership.
3,
They don't know what it's worth.
2,
And then you have a reckoning.
1, 0. Ignition.
Who are the winners?
Does this IPO blur the line between markets and national security? How should I think about it?
I'd be worried, really, to some extent, because
So rises a new era of American spaceflight, and the ambitions of a new generation continuing to dream.
B plus 30 seconds into this historic mission.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Invezz Zero Sum, the show where we cut through the noise on markets, money, and geopolitics. My name is Harsh, and today we are discussing Elon Musk all over again. The man just does not leave our minds. We didn't have any episode last week, actually. We had an episode the week before. 2 weeks ago, we were more in hypotheticals, right? This week, we are talking more about what is actually going to happen. I need to figure out a better way of lighting. You know those big cloud lights which just stay above your head? This ring light is really small, right? So I'm just facing it right now and it's straight coming to my eye. Anyway, just a few days ago, we spoke to Wajid Khan, Invezz stock market analyst, to figure out what's going on with SpaceX. And in the interim, it feels like a very, very long time. We are finally in the week where the SpaceX IPO is set to hit Wall Street. $75 billion to be raised, $1.7 trillion worth of valuation. Do these numbers make any sense? To discuss all of this and to figure out the madness behind the IPO, we have brought on David Morrison, Senior Market Analyst at Trade Nation and a regular columnist at Invezz and Sky Business. Hello, David. Welcome to Invezz Zero Sum. How are you doing today?
thank you very much, Harsh. Lovely to be here. All good, thanks.
Are you based in the UK or are you elsewhere right now?
No, based in the UK, work in London, from home today, but quite often in the office, which is up in Shoreditch. So,
Lovely, lovely. Before I just begin, what's your take on Elon Musk?
Yeah.
What's going on with him?
well, I mean, the bottom line, as far as I can see, and he has his detractors and he has his super fans, and I think most of us may be somewhere in the middle. He's possibly one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. It's quite rare to have someone like that in one's own lifetime, really. You know, you hear about the sort of the great bankers going back into history, the people who built the railroads and everything. Here we've got a man who's a serial entrepreneur who's been responsible for starting up so many incredible businesses, and not just start them up, but become the richest person in the world on the back of it. But without a doubt, an incredibly controversial figure. I think you could use the word Marmite about him. You either love him or hate him. But then perhaps that's not fair, because as I say, some of us do really kind of fall in the middle, and you really like and admire some of the stuff he does, and then sometimes you go, oh God, just put a lid on it.
Into it, yeah. I mean, he wants us to give him $75 billion, and in exchange, he'll give us a very small piece of a company that has been losing money. I mean, lost $5 billion last year and is run completely at his discretion. What do we make of this? Do these numbers make any sense, first of all, to you?
I mean, the valuations we're seeing on all kinds of stocks, I mean, particularly those with any AI-related business in particular, but it's gone from beyond just the headliners like Nvidia, like whoever, the big ones. We've gone beyond Mag 7 now. When we saw how I beg your pardon, when we saw how those semiconductor stocks took off at the end of March, really playing catch up and then actually overtaking a lot of other stuff. And for looking forward to a future which in which nothing bad seems to happen if that's the way you're pricing these stocks, but also looking forward to something that at the moment is unknowable, an unknowable future. There's a great story being expressed and told about what AI is going to do. And so I feel a lot of people, there are very compelling reasons to want to be involved in that. I would, it's like anything though. It's like any new technology. You have that excitement stage. You have the initial surge, and then you have a bit of a reckoning. And it's only from there that you sort of really sort out who are the winners and the losers in this. And to my mind, it's just a question of where are we on that sort of road to discovery, really.
I mean, one thing that really sort of keeps me up at night is the fact that he's asking public investors to buy 4.2% of the float. But Elon Musk himself will have 42% of the equity plus Class B super voting shares. I mean, and which give him absolute power, right? He will have 85% of all the voting power. This is an insane amount of ownership in a company which might just become the most important company in the world and will obviously have the biggest IPO ever. If I buy into this, am I becoming a part of this mega Elon Musk empire that he's trying to sort of, I don't know what he wants to do with the money. He probably, I mean, maybe you might know better what he wants to do with the money, but am I just fueling his dream to go to Mars? How does this work in a retail investor's mind?
Yes, I mean, okay. The structure is very important, as you say, Harsh. Quite right. I mean, he's got control. I mean, I don't think I don't think sort of shareholders of the future after Friday or going forward would. I mean, you couldn't even dislodge him as CEO or anything. It didn't. It's an impossibility. It's his company. Now, he's always fought for this. He's done this with Tesla. He's had issues with that, and that's perhaps part of the story as well. But it at the same time, it's not unprecedented. We saw Zuckerberg do the same thing with Facebook, Meta. We saw the owners of Google, Alphabet, do the same kind of thing. And I think even there was another one as well, like Snap, something like that, where really the initial, there was no chance that as an investor you were going to get any vote on anything. All you're going to do is you're going to get the sort of the growth through the shares if they go up, and you might get some disbursements in the way of dividends if you're very lucky. But so really, what you're doing when you get involved and buy SpaceX, whether IPO or later in the day, you're betting on a range of interesting businesses, for sure. Very much an unknown quantity though, because of what they're doing. Not all of them. I agree. There's a basis there. There's something solid which is the basis of it. But you're also paying an awful lot of money for all that unknown. But you are very much sort of hitching a ride on Elon Musk.
So as a shareholder, I have nothing. And more importantly, I don't even know what Elon Musk plans to do with the money. Right? He could recycle that money somehow into Tesla. He has military contracts. He might want to go to Mars. He might have and he has so many political connections, right? Because he's very active in the political realm. He wants to be a part of the UK politics. He wants to be a part of the French politics, German politics, and whatnot. So what do you think the money will fund actually? I mean, what is this $75 billion for?
What he really wants to do is to sort of reach out, to get into space, to potentially colonize Mars. He's talked about this a lot. It sounds fantastic, sounds ridiculous maybe, but I can only assume that really that is what he wants to do. And I think from lots of the things that he has said and done, this is what he wants money for. Money is for him a means to an end, and so it's an ultimate, and it's to reach this ultimate ambition of going into space, going as far as anyone has gone before, and potentially sort of setting up, as I say, colonizing Mars. I do think that that's probably what he's all about. And it's not that he's sort of, I don't think he's ever really deviated from that. I think that everything he has done is really with that in mind. and it's an incredible vision in many ways, and I suppose you've got to give him credit for that. To thinking what for the vast majority of us, I would imagine, is something that's just the realms of science fiction. But you're right about his connections politically, and you're absolutely correct about his connections within defence, within government. And that's sort of a lot of that touches on an awful lot about what SpaceX is about and could be about in the future.
At this given point, I think a retail investor probably just cares about his or her own money, right? And if we are investing a certain tiny sum in the IPO, or we are buying into SpaceX or any company owned by Elon Musk or whichever big billionaire there is in the world, we expect profits. I mean, I feel like we are living at a point of time where it's very difficult to know what a company is doing. In fact, that same thing can be said about the AI bubble that we are living in right now. What does Nvidia do with all the money, right? It's making its shareholders rich, but what are we doing with the? In fact, I was just reading a report and listening to some experts talk about this, how big companies are building data centers in these foreign sort of countries where they are not based in. Say, Nvidia would, I mean, I'm not going to take names here, but say a big company hypothetically like Nvidia, could build a data center which is very bad for environment, which is very bad for the water supply there, probably somewhere in Africa or some Asian country, and do whatever with the money that they want to do with it. But its investors are getting rich, the shareholders are getting rich, so nobody cares, right, at some point. But in the same breath, if we talk about the financial angle of this IPO and the companies that Elon Musk owns, Starlink is something that we should talk about because it is carrying the biggest financial weight here, right? It has over 9 million users, somewhere between 15 to 16 billion in 2025 revenue, 4.4 billion in operating income. That's the part of the business which actually makes money. So the question essentially I'm asking is the valuation of the entire company really just bet on Starlink, just growing forever?
If you actually sort of strip out of the valuations of Starlink and Launch and everything, you're probably talking about an entity that kind of side of it is worth about 800, 900 billion, something like that, which still leaves you with, the best part of $1 trillion, which is the valuation, the future valuation put on XAI. And well, not, I suppose, space exploration as well. That's a different, but I mean, XAI really, and that's something that was worth not that long ago when it was rolled into SpaceX, 250 billion. So we're talking about a 4 times. Now it's not inconceivable. I mean, we know that we're going to see. Well, I don't know. Perhaps we won't see a similar thing when OpenAI and Anthropic look to do their IPOs. Maybe this is the one that's going to finish them off. But I mean, we're in the situation where people are trying to imagine a future, trying to scale up, and seeing that all this unbelievable amount of spending and investment is going to produce something that produces a profit at the end of the day. So it's a bit of what we're talking about here, because you're absolutely right. What we're talking about here is something. We're talking about the satellite. We're talking about satellites. We're talking about internet. Now you could say, well, it's a pretty good business, but it's actually perhaps not much more than a utility. You could view it that way because there's still competition from all kinds of other providers out there for a very similar type of product. Now, of course, it may turn into be something completely different, and I'm sure it will. And it will involve governments. It will involve defense contractors. Starlink, we saw it. We saw it actually when Elon Musk switched it off over Ukraine. There are all kinds of implications there with it. And in terms of what it can do in the future, I imagine Elon's certainly got a much better idea than I have of what he's going to do with it.
It kind of really worries me, honestly, because I keep hearing about how Starlink is going to run airplanes now. So say a British Airways is running on Starlink technology. And imagine if Elon Musk just I don't even want to think of it, but if he just wants to have a go at British Airways, we're like, yeah, whatever. Let me switch off your internet.
I'm with you on that. I think it's scary. I mean, I remember years ago when reading about Tesla and the car and finding out that, well, yes, it has a range of, let's say, 350 miles, but someone in the Tesla building can press a button and give you an extra 70 or something, or could switch another button and take it away again. And I thought, hang on, I'm much happier looking at the fuel gauge and seeing whether it's going in the red. At least I know what I'm getting there. It's odd, isn't it? It's weird, and it does give you pause for thought, really.
But yeah, let's go back to XAI, because you mentioned it's another AI company that Elon Musk owns, which also owns the Grok assistant and the X platform. And XAI generated 818 million. I have these numbers written down here, so I'm just reading. 818 million in revenue in Q1 2026, but lost nearly 22.5 billion in the same quarter. Now, Morningstar has described its economic moat as, and I'm quoting here, indeterminate. Now, that's just a polite way of saying they don't know what it's worth. So how should an investor think about that? I mean, what should I think about it?
I'd be worried, really, to some extent, because, well, I suppose one ought to be when one's putting one's hard-earned money into to work in the market. One should sort of think twice about these things, because, it doesn't matter whether these companies get these funding. Well, it does matter. These companies get these funding rounds. They're done private deals. They then they sell a stake, they raise some money, and then they find that the whole entity is worth, like XAI was worth 250 billion not so long ago. That's what SpaceX paid for it. Well, there's obviously people out there who know a lot about these things, who are prepared to sort of fund these entities like XAI, put their money in and risk it, because they obviously feel that there's going to be a great future return on it. It has to be said that all those seed funders into SpaceX are going to have a massive payday on Friday. It's they're getting a lot of value out of their original investment, whereas the rest of us, the 30% who it's been thrown open to, which is very un-Wall Street, isn't it? We'll get a small piece of that, but are effectively sort of helping them to cash in their chips on something. But I got away from your point, which was, of course, trying to sort of value AI when we really are still very unclear how or in what way it's going to profit. It's going to be a profitable thing. I mean, if you think that the world is going to be run by AI in the future, then the only thing I suppose you can do to mitigate that is to buy up chunks of these big anything AI related to sort of hedge yourself, because you may be losing your job down the line. This might be happening, that might be happening. You just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it takes you back to the age-old saying: if you can't beat them, join them, right? So yeah, that's the vibe we are living with right now. In fact, but there is a bearish case for it, right? Because a lot of analysts, a lot of experts are also saying. In fact, Morningstar has put a fair value of around 780 billion on SpaceX. Now, that is roughly half the IPO price that we are talking about. And their argument is that even after all the IPO enthusiasm, index inclusion mechanics, investors will have to eventually face the underlying numbers, because honestly, the underlying numbers are not great. It's just a phase, and it's just an optimism and if I could put it like that, absolute madness around this that is fueling this number. So does the bearish case hold up according to you?
I think it does. I think it's pretty compelling. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, because I think Morningstar they did a great analysis on it. But that was one thing that they did sort of look at. They took XAI. What can you really say about it with any certainty? And there's very, very little that you can. And they also, I think, probably looked at they did. They looked at the Starlink and everything else, and sort of said, well, are we sure about the potential for growth here? It's a great company. It's doing well. It's making money, but should it really get this kind of be involved in a company that has this kind of valuation on it? If you think about, if you spun that out, for instance, I mean, would you really have 60, 70 times earnings on something like that, which you could argue is a utility in competition with other utilities? But of course, it's not just that, is it? I mean, sorry, I'm not saying to Morningstar that's what they were saying, but I mean, I'm trying to think of the sort of trying to present a very bearish case, whereas of course, actually, Starlink does have other attributes, and we were talking about government work, defence, everything else, all that kind of area, which that should have a premium on it. But yeah, to answer, I see. I think it's overvalued. I mean, let's come down to it. I mean, I think SpaceX IPO is. I think you're paying too much for it. I think on the opening basis. Who knows how it's going to go? I mean, typically, when on IPOs, the biggest ones that we've seen recently, you get this incredible sort of 1 day, 2 day sort of rally up, and then you're lucky to see that price for months again. That could be the way here. There are slight differences, of course. There's that 30% retail interest, which is of interest. There's also the fact that a lot of people will be locked in and unable to sell. So that again, it means the pressure is from the buyers, not from the sellers. And as you said, there are lots of other intricacies to consider when they go into the indices. When do sort of fund managers have to sort of buy the stock to sort of, because they're tracking it in an ETF or whatever. Now I know that won't happen to the S&P for a year. They're sticking by their rules, but I believe the Nasdaq are sort of speeding up the admission process, as it were, to get SpaceX in there, which you can understand from a point of view, because you're talking about, I mean, we're talking about a company that's going to come in and be sort of like the 7th most valuable company in the US. I think it's if the IPO goes according to plan, I think it's going to come in. Well, yeah, I mean, it'll be roughly maybe a little bit more than Tesla, I think. So that'll make it number 7.
But so, I mean, essentially, does this IPO blur the line between markets and national security? I mean, is that what is happening here?
Well, yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, because we have in the last decade or so, when you think that sort of the space race was all about NASA and it was Russia against the US, it was and this was a big political face-off. Who got there first really mattered. It was governments all the way, and of course, over time, NASA became an expensive thing to do, and it was very interesting, the move to, a lot of people disagreed with this, I think even in the US as well, that to defund NASA or whatever they did to a great extent, and then sort of put the role of sort of doing this, that and the other, whatever in space, into private hands, and yet that has proved incredibly successful. It's brought all these advances. I mean, the reusable rockets, incredible technology. The fact that sort of payloads could get launched into space at a fraction of the cost. The fact that all these things are being done now and relatively cheaply. I mean, if we compare to how much it cost NASA and the US taxpayers back all those years ago, these advances. I mean, you can't prove this, but I'd say that these advances must be coming because this is a business that's been put in private hands.
So, David, what are you bullish on? It could be anything. It could be something to do with the stuff that we have spoken about. It could be something else. What are you bearish on, and what is your wild card right now in the market? Go for it.
Okay. Bullish, I think it's the dollar. I think the dollar bottomed last year, beginning of this year, when we just thinking about the dollar index, cash dollar index, got down to about 95 or so. It's had some. It really has struggled. If you think back to last year, it lost about 75. It lost about 12%. I forget the numbers now, but it had a very, very bad first 9 months to the year. Going from over 110 to below to about 90, 95 or so, 95. Now, it's sort of steadied since then, and I think it's starting to build up momentum. It needs the cash dollar index must break above 100 now. That's a very big area of resistance. But I think if it does, then I think that's a turning point for the dollar, and I think it's got further, more upside over the long term. So that would be my bull. My bear is the Nasdaq. Nasdaq 100. So it's just to explain, that's the big tech index in the US. It's got all the major tech stocks. It will eventually have SpaceX in it, as will the S&P, but the S&P is it'll take at least 12 months, and SpaceX will have to be profitable before it can get into the S&P. And Nasdaq has relaxed its rules. Anyway, I think I'm sort of, my bearish view is on US tech at the moment. I think it's overvalued. I think it's come up too far too fast, and I think it's due quite a significant leg down. So that would be that. Now the wild card. Oh gosh, it's a tricky one. I can't think of anything. Well, hang on. I think the major advances in AI are going to be in the medical field. I know that's not a wild card, but I mean, perhaps it is for me. And I think there will be tremendous advances. I think we'll hear about them quite soon, and I think they'll sort of also be able to come into the public domain a lot quicker than we've seen in the past. So, typically when it's been taking years and years and years to produce and test medicines, we've already seen that timeline coming down quite considerably.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see more of the same. I'm hoping that there'll be just some tremendous health benefits for everyone.
I completely agree. In fact, this is my wild card whenever I talk to anybody, and anybody would put this question to me, because a part of me thinks that your life is limited, right? Ideally, so far, according to human history, life is limited. You probably live to 70, 80, 90. Your lifespan probably grows a bit, every time there's some technological evolution or something like that. But all these billionaires and trillionaires would probably they will also die at some point. So maybe the main reason why everybody is going a bit crazy is because they want healthcare to evolve, right? I mean, maybe AI will produce a technology that will help you live much, much longer than you live right now. And that should ideally be the ultimate goal, right? What could be the ultimate goal otherwise?
I think that's right. I mean, I think most importantly, I think longevity along with actual good health.
Yeah, good health too. Yeah.
That's really the crux of the matter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't mind an extra couple of years, so long as you're sort of healthy, and if there's anything that can be done, about these dreadful diseases, whether it's cancer, Alzheimer's, whatever it might be, that would go a long way to making life better for a lot of people.
Definitely, and that will make life better for a lot of healthcare companies which are trading somewhere.
Right? Yeah.
Their stock prices will jump. Yeah, definitely, and in turn make people richer. So
absolutely. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Thank you, David. Thank you. This was absolutely brilliant. This was one of the best conversations I've had in a long time. It was. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
SpaceX prices on June 11, begins trading on June 12. Whatever happens, it's going to be one of those weeks where people remember what happened. And before I let you go, thank you so much for all the support that you have been giving us. Please keep it coming. Those likes and comments really help us. We will put a link to David's column in the show notes for you to get more insights on the markets and everything that moves with them. This is Invezz Zero Sum. My name is Harsh Vardhan. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.